Hey everybody, I want to talk to you a little bit about our Pirate Travel Club 2020 trip to Toronto, Canada. This is a pretty big deal. We have in the past gone to Washington, D.C., New York City, and we focused a lot on the history aspects of our trip, like, the White House and Washington's, home, and then we went to all kinds of monuments in Washington, D.C. We saw in New York City the Statue of Liberty and the 911 Memorial. So this is going to be a huge turn. We're going to go to a different country. We're going to go up north to Canada, and we're going to look into STEM discovery. Like, STEM stands for science, technology, engineering, and math. We are going to spend 6 days in Toronto. So this is a pretty big deal because we're used to spending only 3 or 4 days somewhere. And every time I think we've, on the way home, we're kind of like, yeah, we miss it, but we could have spent another couple of days there seeing things. So this trip is going to go a little bit lower key, and we're going to see what it has to offer. So a couple of things that I'm going to cover for the trip is why we're traveling, like why travel is important. We're going to talk about our tour, our travel partner. I will definitely cover the safety approach because I feel like that's the one thing, that we think about every time we go out of town or we go to a big city is the safety. I'm going to talk about what's included and what's not included. And let's talk about how to reserve your spot because that's the most important part. I know that you're wanting to know how much this is going to cost. So we'll talk about that. So why travel is so important, right? Nurturing a global perspective. Why I am so passionate about travel is because, and I started the travel club because it was important for me to get my students out of the classroom and teach things that I can't take care of in the classroom, right? Like there's no way I would be able to give you the experience of seeing, Abraham Lincoln at the Lincoln Memorial or walking into the Library of Congress or being at the White House and getting pushed off the lawn by the Secret Service with their guns or showing you what snipers on type of buildings look like. All of those things that we have experienced in the past trips have been absolutely priceless. And it's those things and those memories that I will never forget. So I know how important it is to travel and to see things and to experience things firsthand. I'll never forget the time, of taking my kids into the Holocaust Museum and the impact that it had on them. So why did I choose this tour for our class trip? Well, basically I was kind of back and forth on where I wanted to go next, right? And I asked a group of people, where would be a place that you'd really want to go? And they told me Canada, Toronto. And at first I was like, oh, that's going to be, a lot. Like it'll be probably more expensive and we'll have to get a passport. But the more I looked into it, the more I was sold. Whatever, let's get our passport. Let's do this. This is an opportunity of a lifetime. The money part of it, we'll work for that. So I didn't want that to hold us back because if you don't set your goals and you don't strive for them, you'll never achieve them. So this was one of the things I really wanted to offer them, and I really want to get my passport and get out of the country. So I think that's, main reason why I chose this. I really want to get everybody, on this trip. Why should your child travel? Oh my gosh, I could talk about this for a long time, but you have to ask yourself that. Why would I want my kid to travel? Well, I want my kids to travel because I want them to see what's outside of, their community. I want them to see humanity in its full, and I want them to see, the good, the bad, and the ugly. But I also want them to see what these cities are made of and how much work and how much, money that was put into this. So you have to ask yourself, why should your child travel? How important is it to you? So everything that we're going to see and do, this to me is fantastic. So we're going to go on a guided tour of Toronto, and I think it also says we're going to go on a walking tour of Toronto. So we're going to get to see a lot of Toronto. And that was kind of the thing when we went to New York. We only got to see certain spots in New York, and we didn't get we got to walk around a little bit, 28 miles. But I felt like, we could have seen a little bit more too. We're going to go to Queen's Park. We're going to go to Chinatown, St. Lawrence Market, which is pretty cool, Queen's Quay, Harbor Front, the CN Tower, which some people call it the Needle Tower, the Evergreen Brickworks. We'll take a walking tour of Toronto. There's a harbor cruise that I'm really excited about. Ontario Science Center, which looks fantastic. Ripley's Aquarium of Canada. Second City of Toronto. Kensington Market. The Art Gallery of Ontario. The theater performance, which is going to be super exciting. And Niagara Falls. So I am beyond stoked about every single thing that's on our itinerary. This is going to be a huge deal for me. I can't wait to share it with you. So this is what downtown Toronto looks like. And the way I understand it is that they will do their best to try to get us a professional photo in front of the Toronto sign, just like we got in we got it in New York. We got a picture. So this will be pretty cool. This is downtown Toronto. We get to go to Queen's Park, beautiful park, lots of gardens. They say it's gorgeous, in June. And because this is up north, it won't be as hot as we're used to. So it'll be pretty cool. St. Lawrence Market, this is going to be a place where we can eat, we can shop, great things to see at St. Lawrence Market. There is the CN Tower, which I'm very excited to see. They call it the Needle Tower, but this place is phenomenal. I've read a little bit of history on this, so this will be really cool to see. Evergreen Brickworks, this is part of the science and the technology part of it, so we're going to see how all of that works. The Ontario Science Center, which, I am a sucker for museums. I could spend hours in a museum. So when we go on these trips, these are the places that I just love. This is like on my top priority. Definitely aquariums. Huge sucker for aquariums. The Ripley's Aquarium of Canada has some of the highest ratings of aquariums and beautiful, beautiful aquariums to see. We're back to Kensington Market. This is a little bit different. We get to see kind of like the artsy part of Toronto. There's a lot of creativity and art in Toronto. So it's going to be really cool to see like that aspect of things. The Art Gallery of Toronto, which I am fascinated. We got to see in New York City, we got to go to the Met, so the Metropolitan Museum of Art. And so the Art Gallery is going to be phenomenal. Pretty cool place. Oh, and my favorite. Here's marking something off your bucket list. This is Niagara Falls, and we're going to get to spend a whole day in Niagara Falls. It's going to be fantastic. So get ready. Going to be pretty cool. We're going to get it, hang out here for a day. We're going to take a bus here and then a bus ride back. So this is what our travel window looks like. So the dates that you'll need to block off for your tour. Education First books every aspect of our group's itinerary, like the flights, the accommodations, site visits, and more, so that our travel experience is seamless and affordable. They do everything they can to make sure that they get a good price in tickets. So our travel window goes from June 1st to June 10th. They will do everything that they can to get us in from the 3rd to the 8th, which was what I really wanted. So, but this is our window. So if they can get us cheaper tickets where we take off earlier and things like that, that's kind of what'll happen. Okay, why did I choose Education First? Well, we have gone with World Strides in the past, and they were great. They were phenomenal. I have, no qualms with World Strides. Education First was recommended to me by a friend, and so I thought I'd just check into it and see what the difference was. I do know that the price was a little bit different, a little bit cheaper than going with World Strides, so we're gonna take this tour and we're gonna see how this goes. I've heard great things about them. The reviews are fantastic, so they definitely, it took me back as far as the things that people were saying about them and how positive those reviews were. So great idea. They are a world leader in education travel, over 50 years of experience. First and foremost, they're an educational company. They're accredited, just like our school. And they claim, and so did World Strides, about earning high school credit, but I do not have enough information about that to promise that to you. So I'm not going to promise that part of it until I know more. So that's the only part about that. Now, commitment to safety. This is huge for me because when I go to a big city or we go on vacation somewhere, being safe, getting there, getting home, and having a good time is so important to me. So I choose these companies because they go out of their way when it comes to safety. There's a 24/7 tour director support. That's awesome. Our tour director will be with us all the time. And in World Strides, we would get like different people throughout the day, and it would kind of make it confusing. They are the industry leading chaperone to student ratio. So we will have 10 students per chaperone, which is really nice because in the past it's been 15 students per chaperone. They have a 24-hour emergency on-call service, and I have had to use this before, so I know how phenomenal this service is. There's a professional overnight security that's dedicated to specifically to our group, and travel ID badges and backpacks. So there's all kinds of cool stuff that they'll, send our way. So how is this going to work? We're going to go from St. Louis to Toronto. Once we get in Toronto, we're going to take a bus from Toronto, and we're going to go around Toronto in a bus. We will take a bus from Toronto to Niagara Falls and back, and then we will go from Toronto to St. Louis on the plane. So I'm guessing the 6 days will fly because of how busy we'll be, but I'm really looking forward to this. Okay, now the stuff that you've been waiting for, right? So let's talk about payment options first. So Education First has 3 easy payment options to choose from. They highly recommend the monthly payment plan, and you can call this 888-333-9756 to get some more information if you want. First one, it's like cut and dry. You pay in full, you're out the door, right? No fee. The second one is more of like an automatic payment plan. You make payments monthly on a preferred date. You get to choose the date. You have a 1 month before the tour pay in full deadline. So you just want to keep track of when that should be paid in full. Option 3, this is a manual payment plan. You kind of choose, when you're going to pay. You receive an invoice, just kind of like an account statement, and you make the payments in less frequent installments. You just have to make sure that you pay in full 3 months before the tour. Okay, and that's an extra $50. You pay $350 within 1 month of enrolling to get that rolling. But that's like your manual payment plan, just as long as you pay 3 months before your tour. This kind of is nice too, because if you are wanting to pay with, say, like at the beginning of the year, you get a tax refund, and you are really wanting to just spend your tax refund on your trip and pay it that way. That's also like one of those options where this is kind of built for those people who would like to do it that way. Okay, so let's talk about the giving page, because this is like the GoFundMe of Education First. The giving page allows you to set up a page for people to go to donate to your trip. Even if it's, $20 here and $20 there, or if you're working for someone and you say, hey, for all this work I'm doing for you, or for whatever fundraiser it is, will you please just go here and donate to my trip? And so they can take care of their payments just straight to your trip. That way you don't have to worry about it. So the giving page is an excellent way to get your friends and your family, grandmas and grandpas all on board trying to help you pay for your trip. All right, personalized learning. So this is the part that I don't have a lot of information for. Now they do say that you can get some high school credit with this, but I don't know enough about it to kind of give you a lot of information. I'll have to find out more and see if this is even a thing that Cumberland will allow. All right, what are you responsible for? So after you've paid for your trip, the spending money that you'll need is for souvenirs, lunch, and snacks. Now, Before, when we've gone on trips, the lunch has been included, but they've only given us this last time they gave us a stipend, and you had like $11 to eat, wherever. So I kind of thought that this would be better if we just took our own money for lunch. And even if we're gone for 6 days and you gave yourself $20, and that's pretty decent amount, $20 for lunch. You're only looking at like 120 extra for food, and then for snacks. So I'm thinking, for souvenirs, I don't know, it's completely up to you or whatever, but I would say you would be safe taking a couple $100 for souvenirs, lunch, and snacks. And that's completely up to you. But those are the only three things that you really need to worry about. Now, optional things are baggage fees. So if we go through an airline that makes you pay for one of your bags being checked in, if there's any airline fees, you will be responsible for those and the protection plans on those. So just keep that in mind. They do highly recommend that you take a carry-on when you're traveling. Okay, here we go. Protection plans. So the reason why you're going to want to do this is because if for whatever reason you need to cancel at any time, you're going to want a protection plan to kind of back you up. This will protect your investment against anything unexpected. If you're unable to go on the tour for any reason, this is your cancel for any reason, and this is your cancel for a valid reason. So if you know that you're for sure going to go, you might want to go with a travel protection plan just to make sure if something doesn't happen with your health, or say there's a death in the family, that you can't get your maximum refund. Okay, so the protection plan provides you with this maximum refund. Remember, maximum refund does not include your protection plan fees or any non-refundable fees. You can find all the details of both plans in the tour website. Okay, so anytime protection, you pay $219. This means that you can cancel for any reason, cancel at any time, maximum refund, and it rolls into your payment plan. So it's part of your payment plan. Travel protection plan, $99. It's added to the tour cost. You can cancel for a valid reason, so you have to have paperwork provided to show what your valid reason is, but you can cancel at any time, maximum refund, and it rolls into your payment plan. Okay, so what would this trip cost if we were not going through Education First? Okay, so I did the same thing with New York, and it was really expensive. New York was actually way over this cost, but if you were to go on your own, and this isn't even including the entrance fees to get onto the, the museums and the aquariums and, all of that, which can add up very quickly to close to $1,000. So this doesn't even include your entry fees, the overnight security, and the 24-hour support. So if you were to pay for this without going through Education First, you're looking at a $500 round trip airfare, which I paid way over that. Hotel, $150 a night, which would be around $750 for the 6 days. Meals at $50 a day at $300. Your full-time 24/7 tour director, $1,200, and your ground transportation, $250 a day at $1,500. So, how crazy is that? If we were to actually charge you for everything that we were going to do, you would look around $4,250, which I totally agree. I almost think it would be more than that, especially if you were putting in the $1,000 for all the entry fees that you had to, get into, overnight security, which is really expensive, and that 24-hour support. So if you had to go to the hospital or something like that. So this is actually, this probably is just sugarcoating it as to how much I thought it would be. But when you pay the full price of the trip, you are getting round trip airfare, on tour transportation, safe quality hotel rooms. They're usually a 4-star hotel room. Breakfast and dinner daily. Breakfast will be in the hotel, and dinner will be a reservation at a restaurant. A full-time tour director, guided tours and activities, professional overnight security, travel gear, traveler support team, illness and accident coverage, This is cool because I have had to use this before. I had a student in Washington go down to Arlington. I had to get her to a hospital, and she did have to use this. So this is a good thing to have. 24-hour emergency assistance, which kind of goes with the illness and accident coverage. All gratuities are covered, so anytime that we have to tip the bus guy or whatever, all of that will be included. The We Share or Education First online platform for like the deeper learning experience, and the giving page. So all of that comes included into the price. Okay, so we have options then. And to make this happen, you could spend $152 every couple weeks. That's bi-weekly. You could do $305 monthly. You could do $2,528 in full. That is the total cost of the trip, which is incredible. We're used to spending, let's say, $1,300 on, 3 nights, 4 days in New York. So this is not that bad. We're doing 6 days, Niagara Falls. We're going to Toronto, or Canada, which is a little bit more expensive, but their hotels are phenomenal. This is a great price for what we're going to be doing. And you have the giving page. So don't forget about the giving page. Make sure that you talk to, your friends and family and things like that to get some help. Okay. Now, who's in? It says that there's 20 spots available, but just ignore that. Okay. What you really need to know is to enroll. Go to efexploreamerica.com and put 2292299RZ. That's our code. And I need you to enroll by Monday, September the 30th at midnight. And this is super important because the prices are going to go up October 1st. And we need to lock in our price by September 30th. Okay. If you enroll by September 20th, and you'll get a $50 off on your trip. And all you need to start is the deposit of $95. So that gets you started, and then you can do those other things. So you want to lock yourself in at that price. Very important. Okay, so that is the end of my slideshow. I definitely am super excited to see, where we're going to go, how this is going to go, and how many people sign up. I cannot tell you how cool it is to be able to travel with such a group of people. Every year, it blows me away how much fun and how awesome the kids are. The kids it's a whole nother ordeal getting them out of the classroom. I love getting to know them better and to get to spend time with them outside of the classroom. They're so much fun, and they have such a good time. So I really hope that you'll sign up. Okay. Remember to use this information, spread it along. This travel club is not just for the students. Like, this is also for the parents. The parents are definitely invited to go. This isn't a school function. The school has nothing to do with this. They do allow me to have my meeting at the school and put my posters up at the school, but that's basically, the end of their support. So if you want to invite cousins or people that don't go to this school, feel free. It's available to everyone. So it was nice getting to tell you all about my trip. And if you have any questions, you can email me at piratetravelclub@gmail.com, or just give me kind of a shout out on the Facebook page, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. All right. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful weekend.